How are you guys doing today? Today I want to talk about 6 ways to eliminate debt fast. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from skip tracing to collecting to management, and I've owned 2 debt collection agencies. For the past 8 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit, and now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. Eliminating debt can be very, very difficult, especially for those of you who have credit card debt, right? That is still with the original creditor, and you have a couple of maxed out credit cards. You got your car payment, you got a bunch of stuff lingering around, and you're teetering on whether you can't pay it and just ruining your credit and everything going bad, or trying to figure out a way to pay off this stuff, right? I get a lot of clients a lot of times where you pull a copy of their credit report and things aren't bad, it's just everything's maxed out, right? Their utilization is 80%, 90%, sometimes even 100% utilization on those credit cards, and the balances are pretty high, and we're trying to figure out a way to actually pay it down. And I would say that client is probably the most difficult client to have, especially when their money is set aside and so forth, and all they have is a certain amount of money with regards to paying those credit cards, and you don't want to just continue trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, or barely putting the monthly payments down, and just feeling like this weight is on you and it's going to be hard to get out. That's one of the reasons why I always say use your credit cards like debit cards. But hey, we've all been there, myself included, maxed out credit cards and trying to figure out what to do to pay them. But now I want to give you 6 ways to eliminate your debt fast and to come up with the money to actually pay. And this is something that I think I've done a video like this similar. It was like 4 things, but I'm going in a little more depth with regards to the 6 things, and hopefully these 6 things can help you. This is stuff that I don't care who you are and what is going on in your life, you can actually do one or even all 6 of these things to help yourself pay off your debt fast, okay? The first thing that I would say is to look around your house, looking especially a lot of you guys inside your closet, shoes, clothes, your kids' old toys, their old clothes and so forth, and sell that stuff. Figure out how to sell it. You can go to Facebook Market. One of the things that I did with my wife is we have a thing out here on the West Coast called swap meets. I'm not sure if they're all across the states, because I know that there are more people than just California that watch this, but we have these things called swap meets. Typically ran majority, like 90%, a lot of times I think that they're owned and so forth by Mexicans that live out here, and it's very smart. One of the things we did is, I remember since I was a kid, I would always see the swap meet things. I've gone to swap meets. You get good sales on clothes and shoes and so forth, as well as, they have great food and a lot of stuff with regards to that. And I remember thinking one time, like, I wonder if I could sell at the swap meet. And so finally, we were needing to pay some debt. We were needing some extra money. I was trying to figure out what to do. And we had a bunch of clothes, a bunch of shoes, including myself, my wife, and then our kids. And so I figured, you know what, let's go to a swap meet and sell it. I looked online, figured out what to do. I think it was like $25 for a space. One of the things that was crazy, we had to get up at like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning and go wait in this long line in order to get a space. But we did get a space. And I was able to sell at the end of that time span, and we were there for obviously 3 in the morning to about 12 noon, and I made about $650, and that $650 we used it to take care of some stuff. So that's the number 1 thing that some of you guys can do. Number 2 is to return newly bought stuff. How many times, oh my gosh, you know, my sister, I hate to throw her under the bus. I love her dearly. She is the love. She is probably the matriarch in our family, but she is the type of person that will just buy stuff that you don't need. And a lot of times, some of you guys right now, you know, you're saying you don't have money to pay your debt, but then yet you went and bought some shoes or bought some type of item that you don't need. You could return that back and make sure you pay off your debt. Number 3, one of the things that I did personally myself is a side hustle. That's the cool thing about today's day and age. You can do Grubhub, you can do Uber Eats, you can do Lyft, you could do Uber driving and so forth. And that could be something you can do maybe on the weekends, you know, 2 days. It was something that I did for about a year and a half, just for some extra money to pay off debt and to pay for some extra things around the house. And by doing that, I remember I wouldn't leave until I made like $100 on both of those days, but there were times I would make $200, $300 driving for Uber and Lyft. I did both of them, so I would use both apps tandemly to get more rides. And that's something that you can do. You know, every single person, I mean, obviously you have to have a vehicle. I know that with Uber Eats and Grubhub and so forth, they're not so strict on what your car is like as long as you got insurance and so forth. But obviously when you're driving people, you have to, you know, go through the inspections and so forth. But it wasn't hard. I had a 2007 Honda Odyssey that I used, and this was back in 2018. And I was able to use that older Honda Odyssey. And yeah, so that's something you can do with regards to that. Figure out a side hustle, something that's actually gonna pay you, take the money and save it. Another thing you could do is get rid of one expense. One of the things that I like to do when I'm not in the beginning of credit repair, first we clean up the credit and then we start building the credit. But one of the things we do in building the credit is we set your budget. We look at your luxuries versus your necessities. And a lot of times those luxuries, you have those things, and yeah, I know, you know, whether it's working out at the gym or some of the Netflixes and all that type of stuff. I mean, yeah, you know, I know to a certain extent some of this stuff's needed, but you have to be able to let go of some of those luxuries, because those luxuries will definitely help you pay down your debt fast. So, and then within that confinement, get rid of another bill. Figure out another bill within your bills that you can actually get rid of that you don't necessarily need. Another thing is eliminating expenses that are bad for your health, i.e. cigarettes. Those of you who, you know, vape and all that type of stuff. Cigarettes in California, I'm not sure about a lot of other places, they're taxing it. You know, a pack of cigarettes will run you like almost $10. And when you're buying so many of that, you can use that to do it. Alcohol is another one, obviously, for those of you who drink a lot and so forth. Eliminate those things. It's gonna help your health, number one, and number two, you'll be able to pay off your debt. And then the sixth and final thing that I always tell people, and this is more geared to people who have kids, right, is your tax refund. If you're getting a tax refund with regards to, you know, working all year and so forth, especially in this day and age right now, they're giving all kinds of money for kids. Obviously, if you fall under the threshold, I think if you're making, you know, I think like $150,000 or more or something, it eliminates you as a family. I'm not that exact sure about that, but if you're making that kind of money, depending on what's going on, you should definitely be able to pay your debts, is what I always tell people. But nevertheless, your tax money, you get your tax refund. Most people, you're getting anywhere from $3,000 up to $10,000, $12,000. And what ends up happening, I've seen it so many times between friends and family. You go, you buy a rinky-dink car, and, you know, 4 or 5 months after that, it's all done. Why not take that money and pay down all of your debt? It's gonna help you out tremendously. It's what I did. I've done all 6 of these things, and I was able to get out from under a bunch of debt in less than 6 months, right? But it's gonna take sacrifice. It's gonna take a lot of these things in order to eliminate the debt. And then when your utilization goes down, your FICO score goes up, and then you come up with the plan, and then now you're in the big leagues, is what I call it, when you hit the 700 club. And not just a 700, I would say about a 7, maybe 20 and above, then you're in the big league. So all of this stuff I know is going to take discipline, it's going to take planning, but if you really, really, really want to clear up your credit and pay down your debt, it's something that you're going to have to do. And these 6 things anybody can do. So that's set up there for you. Don't forget, until the 23rd, free 30-minute consultation. Those of you who do that, you get the free ebook that I have. It's about 65 pages of stuff about debt and credit. It'll help you out with regards to that. And then those of you who want to invest in your future, if you do decide to invest this month between now and the 23rd, which is coming up pretty quick, we are giving you 20% off of the entirety of the signing up. So it'll save you a lot, $120 total. So be sure to do that. Don't forget all the free stuff, free pay to delete, free goodwill letter, free cease and desist letter, as well as I still have 2 slots with regards to authorized user to help you out. So that way with an authorized user, when you apply for something, if you do it right, you'll get approved for double or sometimes even triple what you would have gotten approved for without the authorized user. 2 slots for that. I have the DIY credit repair packet. Those of you who understand it, just need a little boost or a little help, I have a DIY credit repair packet. And not only do I have the DIY credit repair packet, but I have an actual list giving you a guide-by-guide steps on what to do when starting out and cleaning up your credit. I have the inquiry removal kit as well. All of those are on sale, so be sure to check it out. Now, if you have any questions about debt or credit, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions, and as I always state, you be